of 11. Anthony Davis was great for the Lakers. LeBron was great for the Lakers. He was 1 assist shy of a triple-double. And the Lakers get the win, but the story in this one, James Harden. Here he is after last night's loss.
James, in a game with so much at stake, why did you guys seem so flat through 3 quarters?
Good question.
And with that, we welcome in Chris Broussard. All right, Broussard, what did you make of James Harden's performance last night?
It was sad. It was sad. Look, I'm a James Harden fan. I don't go as far as Nick to say he's the best player never to win a championship. And I'm guessing Nick has maybe come off of that after another playoff clunker last night. But I am a huge fan of his game. I'm not one of those that thinks he's boring, thinks he's horrible to watch. I understand how difficult it is to do what he does one-on-one. So I'm a fan. But this was sad. And the two saddest things were, one, I wasn't surprised. This has become an expectation now from James Harden. He is now 1-6. If we call last night an elimination game, which, let's face it, it really was, he's now 1-6 in those games. He entered shooting 25% from 3 in his first 6 elimination games in the playoffs. And there's something about 2 for 11, because this is his 4th playoff game where he's 2 for 11. I would love to credit the Lakers defense because it has been terrific. And it was last night. They're throwing different looks at him. They deserve some credit. But the thing is, this has happened against Golden State. This happened against Oklahoma City in the last round. This has happened against San Antonio and even the Lakers in the past. So this is on James Harden, which leads me to my second point. The second saddest thing about this is that it looked like Harden conceded. Like he just gave in and said, you know what? I am that guy. I'm that guy they've been saying I am, who doesn't deliver in the big moments. No field goal attempts in the 4th quarter. I'll give him, he had 8 free throws in the 4th quarter. That shows some level of engagement. But for a guy that good not to have any field goal attempts in the 4th quarter of an absolute must-win, it seemed to me like he gave in. And we talk about Russell Westbrook and, you know, his playoff struggles. He obviously was pretty good last night.
He never gives in.
But I would rather have a guy go out swinging, go down swinging, trying to do too much than to kind of shrink and just concede.
Chris, this is what it is, man. Originally, I said that this series will be determined by James Harden. And when you go 2 for 11, you are determining the series. But I want to approach it from a different perspective. I want to approach it from the player's perspective. 2011, I was having a terrible year with the Miami Dolphins. And it was you guys that was covering games and people covering, the people on the beat, the bloggers. And I would listen to the headlines. And I remember this one moment walking out on the field and thinking that Troy Aikman was talking about me right now. And I pictured a graphic. I pictured this graphic of Troy Aikman saying, 3rd down, Brandon Marshall's drops on 3rd down. Brandon Marshall's drops in the red zone. And I remember thinking, like, well, usually there's 2 cameras on me. I know that. I know that cameras are on me when there's a good moment and a bad moment of games. They want to get the star player's reaction. But now there's probably like 4 cameras on me and graphics being built around me because I'm having a bad season. And you are right. There's something seriously going on with James Harden, because when you look at him being detached, when you look at how he's responding in his press conferences, there's something disturbing is happening. James Harden needs to double down on who he is. Now, is it too late now? Yes. But this offseason, he needed to look himself in the mirror and say, who am I? Which you already know. I dominate the basketball. I give a decent effort on defense, but that's who I am. Get the guys around you that can play with you. You need more continuity, but don't try to be what you're not. When you look at how he's approached this playoff, this whole bubble, he's actually played into the headlines. James Harden is playing really good on defense. James Harden isn't dominating the basketball. He's penetrating, trying to kick. But now you are right. He conceded to all of the mental strain, and he's struggling right now, right before our very eyes.
So
So, Bruce, I think it's a great point, Brandon, and I think it's great insight. You know, we always hear athletes say, I don't read anything, and a lot of guys read everything or see everything or hear everything, and I do wonder if some of that's playing out with James. But I got 2 points here, Broussard, to bounce off you. One is this. The last 3 league MVPs seem to have the same problem. Harden, Giannis, which is on a night-in, night-out regular season basis, their style is almost unguardable. They're so statistically dominant. I know you feel like the right guy has won the MVP all of the last 3 years. Giannis hasn't been officially been named, but he will. But then those games are not translating to 2 weeks in a postseason against a set opponent who can study you and break down your flaws. The other maybe bigger issue, because you said it looked like Harden gave up or wasn't engaged. This game, if you didn't know that it was 2-1, which, by the way, after 3 games, unless it's 3-0, it has to be 2-1 one way or the other. It's as close as it can be. You would have thought this was 3-0. The way the Lakers are playing Taylor Horton Tucker, LeBron is laughing on the bench, playing light minutes. Harden is somewhat disengaged. I've never seen a series that didn't have a massive series-changing injury, Broussard, where it's 2-1 in Game 4, and it seems like both teams are totally resigned. Okay, this series is over. I couldn't believe it. Like, it's one thing to kind of okay, we're down 3-0, it's over. Even down 3-1, all right, it's probably over. It's 2-1. It's 2-1, and Houston could feel like, man, we could have won Game 2. We should have won Game 2. I couldn't believe that the approach from both sides was the Lakers were like, we can try out the 19-year-old rookie, and the Rockets didn't seem to have the punch you need in the biggest game of the series up to this point.
No, those are good points, Nick. And the difference I would say between Giannis and Harden, and maybe this isn't the case, but Giannis has limitations in his game that you can exploit in the playoffs, obviously. Harden, I think, is limiting himself. Again, defenses can, do a better job against him in the playoffs, but I think he's limiting himself, whereas I think Giannis is just being limited by the fact that he doesn't have certain moves and shots in his game.
Broussard, I told you that I thought that the Rockets needed to shoot 63s, and we actually went the other way. There's going to be the death of small ball and the death of the Rockets. They didn't shoot enough threes. It went from 51 to 39 against the Lakers, and the last 2 they went 31. Shout out to Rob Perez for putting this on Twitter. He did an excellent job to surface this, so shout out to Rob. But this is how they're going to go out, by not shooting enough threes. And Broussard, I know you're not going to give Frank Vogel and LeBron any credit. I think they deserve way more credit than anyone is giving them for really locking Harden down. And maybe I'll meet you halfway. If you get Harden frustrated, you can break his spirit, especially on a neutral court where there's no crowd to get him fired up. But I think Vogel and LeBron deserve more credit for sort of breaking the spirits of the Rockets, Jenna.
Wild's always trying to give LeBron credit. This isn't about LeBron.
We may be saying bye-bye to small ball. Lakers will try to close out this series. Words, we're all talking. Coming up, Brady, Brady, Football Sunday on Fox, talking Bucs Saints next. But first, guys, check out Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski testing out their friendship.
What is Tom's favorite word?
Oh, man.
I think he's going to get this.
Oh, I think I got to get it. I mean, it's kind of like a phrase.
Oh, maybe you won't get it.
I don't know. Like whenever he sees someone and,